Hello and welcome to Hunter Fuel, a supernatural rewatch podcast for adults who enjoy their show with a chaser. I'm Liz.
And I'm Lynn.
Thank you so much for joining us for season 2, episode 21, All Hell Breaks Loose, part 1. We model responsible drunkenness here. All participants are way over 21. No one is pregnant. No one will be driving, handling weapons, operating heavy machinery, or running alone through the woods and getting our stupid asses killed. If you're playing along with us, those are the rules. If you decide not to follow them and you do something stupid, don't blame us. Lynn, what are you drinking this evening?
So, on the surface, this is going to sound very simple, but there's a
Okay.
twist. So,
Oh.
there's a twist. So, it is just a neat bourbon, but
Okay.
it is a brand new bourbon that my husband bought me that I have not tried.
Oh,
So,
new
I
bourbon experiment.
exactly.
All
So,
right.
yes, he surprised me with 2 new bourbons. I've already tried one that was very tasty, and this is the second one. So,
Very exciting. Always enjoy trying some new hunter fuel. So what is your guess for the theme of the cocktail this week?
I have been over analyzing this to the hilt. I've gone in several different directions, and the one I'm settling on because it could
Okay.
go
All
in
right. Where'd
2
you land?
ways. If there's a cocktail called the Backstabber, that to me
Oh.
is that would be the ideal cocktail because it could
Oh,
go 2
that
ways.
would have been a good choice. It would have been. Um, it,
As like
all
my
right.
other
Go ahead.
thought was a like something Western themed,
Western.
um, or obviously because of the main theme, something around the devil, but to me that was too simple.
Well, I hate to disappoint you, but I went too simple. So
Oh,
from the official Supernatural cocktail book, I went with fan favorite at conventions, the yellow-eyed cooler. And it is 1.5 ounces of white rum, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, and 1 ounce of pineapple juice. Put that all in a shaker, shake it up with some ice, strain, and serve over fresh ice. Producer Mark, can you bring up our Supernatural game cards, please? All right. I I don't know. This is kind of a boozy episode, but just at a quick glance, I don't have a high degree of confidence here.
I there are definitely I've got I think about 4 squares if I'm
Okay.
looking at this. Me 5.
All right. Well,
Um But there's a couple that you may tell me are miraculously happening that you've got a significantly better ear than I do.
all right. Well, we're gonna find out. So, as always, the first one is on the house.
Alright.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers. See what we think.
Hmm, that one's a little tart.
Ooh, that is good.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoy your
Woo!
new bourbon. Hopefully, next time I come visit, I can convince you to share.
You know that won't take much effort, right?
All right. Well, if you're playing along with us, there is a link in the link tree to generate a card of your very own. With that, let's get this show on the road.
Ooh.
So the then focuses very heavily. Actually, we've got a road so far instead of a then. Um, we've got a lot about the yellow-eyed demon and, his deal with John at the beginning. We've got all of the children, like Max and Andy from Simon Said, and the whole thing with um, Gordon and his concern that the yellow-eyed demon is building an army of these children, and he's looking for uh, um, soldiers in a coming war. So we also have Ava, um, and the way that she kind of disappears suddenly at the end. Um, we also have just a lot of like what their big plans here, and we don't have all the pieces. We know something really big is afoot, but we don't know what. Ending with again that Ava is dead, her or Ava is missing, her fiance is dead, and we end with Dean saying, "Damn it, this whole thing is spinning out of control."
That is like
It's
the
when
longest segment on planet Earth. Like,
it is really long, yeah, so either the episode was short or they're like, "Crap, it's the season finale and we've got a lot to do." But
that's what I decided was that, like, they needed to encompass everything that was gonna happen today and had to remind us of a shit ton of stuff.
they did indeed. They
Oh,
did. So we've got, I think, the tiniest little roadside diner ever. So we have a dude, a wacky diner. Dean says pie. Tell him this, give me some pie.
I love that. Pie, don't forget the pie.
Don't forget the pie. An electronics flicker. Dean starts tapping the radio and he looks around, and suddenly, the diner that Sam just went into is completely empty. And it is just, we're going to talk about this a little bit later. It is just absolutely pouring rain. Dean runs into the diner and everyone is dead. There's blood everywhere. I mean, the place has like 3 booths and the it's hardly crowded, but everyone in it, the other patron is just crashed on the table in a pool of blood. Uh, and Dean
Yeah,
comes around the counter. The 2 people who work in the diner, their throats are cut. No sign of
that
Sam.
happened fast. Like, I mean,
Very,
that
yeah.
wasn't like that wasn't even what, less than a minute, and
Eh,
there it like it's not even dripping. Like it's
no, it was seconds.
yeah, and it's like had been sitting there for a while, and of course he's like, "Oh, sulfur," and just starts screaming, "Sam, we have a Sammy,"
We
and
do have a Sammy.
just starts
Notice as he's walking out of this diner, they've got all these pallets lined up because it had just poured down rain for days and days. And this whole little diner that they built is just one, it's in the middle of a lake now that wasn't there when they built it. Cut from Dean calling for Sam to this kind of great upside down twisting shot of Sam laid out. And again, they had to put him on like a board because it's been raining too much for him. He'd have sunk right down to the ground. Um,
yeah.
and he's in this old ghost town. The the location is from an old Canadian show called Border Town. So this is all the set from that show. There was only one dirt road in and out, and with it just day after day after day of rain, it had completely washed out. So the only way they could get everything in and out, I'm going to pause on the title card here, was there was this really like sketchy logging road to the set that they had to try to get all the crew, all the equipment, all the trucks in on this like very sketchy old logging road. Um, and it made for an entertaining trip to set. So,
Now, would you? Because I've gone back and forth on this in my head.
okay.
Would you consider Sam knocked out? Because he's laying there, and we don't know how he
He
got there or was he just asleep? Like, I'm
Mm,
literally gone back and forth on this one.
I had a similar debate. Actually, producer Mark and I talked about it a bit, and the reason I'm hesitant to call it getting knocked out is we don't see him actually getting hit in the head. So we don't know why he's unconscious. So we don't know if he got knocked out or like you said, if the demon put him to sleep and not he's passed out. Um I'm inclined to say no, but
I don't even think I have the square. I was
eh,
literally curious on your thoughts on that one because I when I watched it a couple times, I've gone back and forth, so I was literally just curious
yeah.
on your thoughts.
Uh, uh, for me personally, if I'm gonna call somebody knocked out, I want to see him get hit in the head.
Okay, no,
Um,
that's fair. That's 100%
right.
fair. That's that
But
curiosity.
okay, but we do have a dude, Wacky Diner, Pie, Electronics Flicker, and Sammy. So we are number one with a bullet here. Let's take a
Yeah,
look. I
and I have 3 of those without even having to go hunting.
well, amusingly enough, oh, I have Pie, I have
I
Dude,
Yep, me too.
I are those
Oh,
yeah, those are the only two.
and I have the Wacky Diner.
Fantastic.
Now, do I have an electronics flicker? And then I'll
Yeah,
have I
that
don't
is it. I
think
just
I
have
do.
those two.
I have I have those 4.
All right. Well, you
Uh,
are doing better than I am.
it was that I knew uh, alrighty, so, well, since I have 4, I kind of poured myself a big one.
We like 'em big.
Yes, yes, we do.
Cheers. Mm. All right, we're hitting play.
Yeah.
Huh? So Sam was all alone in this abandoned, ghost town here, which I guess is redundant because I think abandoned is in the definition of ghost town. He's investigating, trying to figure out what is going on, and we have these really long establishing shots, I'm gonna say, that of just him wandering around trying to figure out what's going on, and he appears at first to be completely alone in this town. Um, however, as he's coming around this corner, he hears something creaking. He's gotten a piece of wood and he's just getting ready to knock out poor Andy.
Mhm.
He realizes, "Oh, it's Gabriel Tigerman back from Simon Said." And
Uh,
he just woke up in
up
freaking
in freaking
Frontierland.
Frontierland. I love that line. It's like, what the fuck?
My favorite part, though, is Sam is like, "What do you remember?" And he's like, "I don't know, my 4th bong load." He's he's
I was like, it was a really weird smell. Like sulfur? Yeah, how'd you know? Well, because with
how else would he know? Come on.
yes.
Like, come on, Andy, you know what they do. Then they hear somebody calling for help. So they miss this a little bit, but they
I
hear
was gonna
somebody
say,
locked in
I
a
I I I got some issues with this scene.
yeah, he picks up a rock and he hits this like big padlock a couple times. It opens on the first try, but he keeps hitting it anyway. And here's Ava. So this is the
Eva.
first time we've seen Ava um, in quite some time. And she's freaking out. She's sobbing. He's like, "You've been missing 5 months." She's like, "What are you talking about? I just saw you 2 days ago." He's like, not so much." Um, so she's just like they're still in the what the hell is going on phase. She starts asking about her fiance Brady, and you can see in Sam's face, he's like, "Ooh." kinda don't wanna tell you that story. Um,
Yeah.
I love her look at Andy like, "The fuck are you?"
Yeah, and
Um,
is it just me, or does she, like, for some kid who's freaking out as much as she is, now granted, we find out the answer later, but
we do.
she calms down awfully quickly. Like,
She does seem to be able to kind of turn it on and off pretty quickly, you're not wrong. Um They also realize that they're not the only 3 in town. There's 2 other people. There's a woman named Lily who kind of keeps her arms, like, tucked in really tight, and there's a soldier, named Jake, played by Aldous Hodge. So this was before Aldous Hodge was in Black Adam and Cross, Underground, Straight Outta Compton, Leverage, Friday Night Lights, and a ton more. Here he was on Supernatural. So this is a great this is a great guest star from somebody who would go on to be extremely recognizable. Jessica Harmon, who plays Lily, was in the 100 and I Zombie. But don't get too attached to her.
nope.
There is a Lynn, do you know there's an oopsie here? Did you pick up on it?
No, I picked up on what, in my opinion, was an oopsie in the last scene. So,
Okay. Well, so since the last time we saw Andy, they've put his earrings in the wrong ear. So, so he's got his earrings on in a different side than he did when we saw him in Simon Said.
ah,
Which actually, there's a reference here to Simon Said where Lily is talking about, everybody's kind of comparing notes on their superpowers, and hers is really tragic that anybody she touches dies. Um,
uh,
and meanwhile, Andy's is that he can kind of make people do whatever he want. He says he's been playing with his powers and he can actually like broadcast now, which is gonna come back later. And she's like, "What? So you can say Simon Says and you get whatever you want?" Um,
yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna pause it
unfortunately,
here for a second.
I was gonna say, never mind. She hasn't made that comment yet. So I'll come back to that thought in a moment.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll put a pin in that. I have
Yeah.
paused it here on we've the show has now cut to Dean talking to Bobby, so he's obviously gone for help to find Sam. Just as an FYI, there is an anime series of Supernatural. It's got 2 seasons and it covers sort of the first 2 seasons of the live action Supernatural. If you're interested in knowing more about that, I'll be doing a bonus episode on it in the next few weeks. But one of the episodes offers a bit more backstory for Lily, and that episode is called Darkness Calling. And you see she says here that she accidentally killed her own girlfriend, and so you see that. And you see John starts out with the intention of using her as bait to try to capture the yellow-eyed demon. So we get that whole interaction from that series. Okay, hitting play. And what Bobby is explaining to Dean is that there is no demon sign anywhere in the entire country. Cut to Harvell's, and we've got this close up of the ceramic monkey,
Yeah.
which we've talked about before. And you can see, like, oh my goodness, it's like a gale force wind. It's blowing Jim Beaver back.
Oh,
But
that
Jacqueline,
mullet. Oh my
oh
god.
goodness, that is a special mullet. Um, what we just had happen here is going to come back around. So Chad Lindbergh is back as Ash. He is telling them they've got to get to the roadhouse. Something big is happening. He can't talk to them about it. Really extreme close up on his watch. No reason whatsoever. But while he's on the phone, another, we presume, hunter, somebody from the roadhouse, walks by in a very prominent cowboy hat and gives Ash a stink eye. So file that away. That's going to come back. Back to Frontierland.
Yes.
And Sam is trying to convince them all this is a demon's doing. We all have to stay together. And of course, what he's talking about is insanity, right? Like no
Yes.
one in their right mind would believe this.
Well,
And
actually,
people,
though, if you think about it, to me, they've all experienced things recently that are highly unusual
hmm
that they can't really explain. So to me, how is a demon so off the charts? I mean, if they're all having visions and all of these other really freaky other things, to me, that's not that far fetched. It's like, okay, I've seen other things that I can't explain. How's this one so off the wall?
yeah, you're not wrong. And we did just have a creepy evil kid as well. So we'll look for that the next time we take a break. But um, how often have we seen it, Dean and Sam say like, "Oh, there's no such thing." So, I think everybody has a line like, "Okay, I can you had me to here, but you lost me after that." Um, Creepy evil
Oh,
kid is
the kids.
back, and here comes Sam with an iron poker, and what
Yeah.
in any other show would be horrific, he beats this little kid with an iron poker. And now suddenly, as she disappears, everyone's much more prepared to accept the idea that there's demons. So
Yeah,
we've paused
I
on the
love I
black.
love that line. That was a demon.
That was a demon. See, not so crazy now. All right, so we've paused on the black screen and we are looking for a creepy evil kid, which, if memory serves, I do not have.
I do not have it
No,
either.
no,
Oh,
alas. All
that
right,
sucks.
well, hopefully you have one if you're playing with us. Um,
Yes.
but all right, hitting play. No, no drinks for us.
Aw.
So Sam, not only is this a regular demon, he identifies it as a cheery and says that it disguises itself as a little girl, apparently with really creepy long fingernails.
Oy.
Close up of this wacky bell,
And that
and Sherlock
and that
Holmes.
bell will come back to be very important.
It does, and Sherlock Holmes, Sam says, "Oh, I know where we are." They're in Cold Harbor, a place so haunted the entire town just fled. Um, and they're still all trying to figure out, like, "Okay, great, we know where we are. What do we do?" And Lily's like, "I'm out. I'm out of here." It seems like there's no way. We don't know how many they are. We don't know anything about anything right now. Like all we're gonna do is get ourselves killed trying to get through miles of woods with a demon on the loose. Here's where
Yeah,
we get the story from Lily that she accidentally killed her
killed her
girlfriend,
girlfriend.
and you can see that Sam's like, "Okay, that sucks." Legit. I feel really terrible for you, but we've all got sob stories here, and I do love that he just says, "I've lost people too," with the Sam puppy dog eyes. He doesn't start having, competitive suffering with her, like, "You killed your girlfriend," "My mother's dead, burned to death on the ceiling while eviscerated, by the way, FYI." Um, I like that he just lets her have it. You know what I mean? That he doesn't try to out pain her. Okay, I see you've paused it. Go ahead.
I thought it was interesting though, and it was very, very subtle. In fact, I'm gonna back this up ever so slightly,
Okay.
if it'll let me,
Mhm.
because he did this really neat thing, with it. And we always talk about Jared and Jensen's art of subtlety.
Mhm.
And I love how, let me see if I can get this to play in just the right spot. Is she talks about here how she accidentally touches her girlfriend and the girlfriend dies. What he does this thing with his face where he's like very sympathetic, but then he almost switches gears with literally just the twitch right there with the twitch of his face. It's
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm like as you said, he let her have her moment, but then
Mhm.
it's like, yes, but we've got business to do. And it's literally with
Right.
like one
Yeah.
subtle twitch of his chin.
Yeah. Like, "This sucks. I feel bad for you." It doesn't change anything. Like, right now, we have a problem to solve. So, if
Yeah,
we wanna get out of here alive, we don't have time to have a pity party. We
yeah.
we have
And
to compartmentalize that, and we need to focus on what we can do.
And I just
Yeah.
love how he says it, but just as I said, that subtleness in his
Yeah.
mannerism,
Mhm.
in the way he acted through that, I thought was amazing.
Yeah, I agree. There's some great stuff here, and we see this is a great Sam episode. Like we're gonna see some pretty great stuff in here. All right, ready to
Yes,
move on?
yes,
Okay, we are hitting play, and yeah, you just see him like, okay, I've lost people too. It sucks, but business now.
yeah,
Um,
yes. I love
and
that.
and he's saying like, My brother could be dead right now. I don't even know. But right now, the best way out of this is to stick together. Something I think is interesting too is Lily has this like kind of pendant on a long chain around her neck that she's kind of constantly gripping. And I thought perhaps it might have been something from that anime backstory, like maybe it was a gift from the girlfriend or something, but I think it's just a choice the actor is making that she knows if she touches someone, it's deadly. So she's just to keep herself from accidentally touching someone, she just constantly kind of keeps something in her
Yeah,
hand. So I think
yeah,
that's a choice on the actor's part. But Lily does the Irish goodbye. She like, "Oh, yeah,
yeah.
I'll help you look for things." She sneaks out.
I
Cut
I love
to
I love the line that they do about salt of brand new world, people, brand new
Yep,
world. Like they're like, since when was salt a weapon? Brand new world.
and a whirl. Cut to Bobby and Dean. They get to the roadhouse, and the first thing that we see is that burned cowboy hat, cowboy boots. We've got the
Oh,
scorched ceramic monkey. We have close up
oh,
of Joe's repeating Winchester, and the roadhouse is just razed to the ground. And they're trying to figure out, is anybody even still alive? Because I mean, clearly they're finding bodies, so they
yeah.
know this is bad, and they
Oh,
spot that square watch of ashes, and we've got to damn it.
damn it.
As they realize that whatever big thing Ash was on to that he couldn't tell them in person, it is gone as far as they know that Ash took it with him because he's dead. That was supposed to be one of those old school calculator watches, but for whatever reason, they couldn't make it work. So they went with the square watch instead. Here comes Lily trotting along through the woods all by herself. What could possibly go wrong? She,
This is like a scene straight out of a horror movie.
yeah, like we
By
know how this
herself
ends.
in the woods. Yeah, with things are like, yeah, yeah. This is most likely not going to end well.
Yeah, we know where this is going to go. Sam tried to tell her. They're looking for weapons, they're looking for iron, they're looking for
Uh,
salt. We see, Ava, like, rubbing her temples, and she says, "I would kill for a sandwich."
which
She says she's just dizzy,
yeah, which,
but,
yeah, but kind of put that to the keep that in your mind, that temple
file it
running
away.
thing. That kind of that comes back.
Yeah. Well, and there are things that again, when you're watching this for more after your first time, it's like, oh, you start to see the little clues, and it's pretty cool. Andy has found two giant bags of salt. He's very excited, but this is the point where they realize that Lily is not searching the town like they thought. Like, great soundscape here. You can hear wood creaking, and then
Oh,
they all run outside, and here's Lily strung up on the windmill in town. Um,
uh,
so she's just hanging there. Like, things have gone very bad for Lily. Um, we've got a great performance
mhm,
from Ava, where she's just kind of shrieking, Lily's dead. She's not chosen. Um, and so it's like, okay, this is why I've been
mhm,
trying to tell y'all we need to stay together. We
yeah.
we need to gear up here. If we want to stay alive, we're gonna have to fight. And what I really love about all of this is we see Sam go from somebody the rest of the team thinks is just plain Looney Tunes to someone they all look to for orders. And this is the first time I think in the series we see Sam away from Dean and him being able to step into a leadership role because he doesn't have his big brother there.
Yeah. Well, this Dean
Um,
Hassel?
D.
What a
Hasselhoff.
consistent
So that's Dean's signature. It's
yeah,
D. Hasselhoff.
yeah,
Obviously a Knight Rider reference.
absolutely.
And Andy said, I keep wanting to call him Gabe because that's the actor. So Andy says, you know what? I think I have a way to contact your brother. Cut to Dean and Bobby. They're trying to figure out what to do next because their only lead is now dead. And Dean starts to have what is clearly a just skull splitting migraine, accompanied by visions of the bell with the embossed big tree on it. And Bobby's looking at him like, okay, really? Who are you trying to fool here? This is
Quick
not just a headache.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I'm agreeing with you that
Oh,
he's like that Bobby's like, "Clearly there's more to this, you are not like, that this is a vision, dude," and he's like, "Nope, no, no, I am not Sam, that this is not happening,"
yeah,
until he's like, "Holy crap,
yeah,
I saw Sam." It's like, "Yeah, no shit, Sherlock, you're having a
right.
vision."
Yeah, that was about as fun as getting kicked in the jewels.
Jules, I love
But
that line.
to your earlier point, Dean has been really freaked out from the beginning about these visions of Sam's, so people who deal with the supernatural all the time are kind of not prepared to deal with psychic visions. Like, that's too freaky. So I think everybody has their line. From From the description, I don't know, a big bell with something on it. Bobby is able to figure out where they are. So he knows where they're going. Cut back to now, um, Sam is in the barn with Jake, and we see that Jake's superpower, which he has not disclosed up to this point, is super strength. There is also an episode of the anime series that gives us Jake's backstory. So if you're interested, that's available as well. But he says he can bench press 800 pounds. Um, but he never told anybody because it's just too crazy.
Yeah,
And
especially at
again,
that frame. That's a little nuts.
nuts, and about as crazy as, going to sleep in Afghanistan, waking up in Cold Harbor
Frontier
with
land.
the yeah, frontier land. And I love this conversation that Jake and Sam have, where Sam starts to realize that his brother has always been telling him, everything's going to be okay. We're all going to get out of this. And he says, I don't know if I believe it this time. And what I love about Jared's performance is you can kind of see the wheels turning in his head like, oh shit, Dean didn't know if it was true when he said it either.
Yeah.
And you start to see him get some perspective on Dean in this episode that I think is pretty cool. Go ahead.
What I also think is interesting is what is you watch the facial expressions on the other actor whose name is escaping me right
Yeah.
now.
Aldous Hodge. Yeah.
Yes. And I mean, as many times as I've watched this episode, it just I just noticed the way his eyes shift down, and it's like, since I'm assuming everybody has watched this to the end,
Yeah.
you sort of see like, "Hmm, I wonder if that's my in." Like, I
Yeah.
kinda always feel like everybody in this episode is looking for an edge of some sort to
Yep.
use over the others, and I feel like
Yep.
that conversation, he was sort of wondering if that gives him his edge over Sam.
Yeah, it's a really great episode, and these are all really talented actors. So you get a really kind of a front row seat to some really great choices they're making. We did have somebody pouring a salt line,
That one.
and there's this is kind of interesting episode because it to a certain extent, not a lot happens. And it's all very kind of character driven. Lynn, to your point, it's a lot about the interpersonal dynamics between the characters. And here's this point where Sam thinks he's telling Ava her fiance didn't make it. And you could see, like, he's like, "Crap, I do not wanna have to be telling her this now." Um, like, he's all puppy dog eyes until he starts to hug her, and then it's more like a, "Oh, Jesus, pull yourself together, we've got shit to do." So again, as you were saying earlier, like some really great stuff going on in people's faces. Ev
Yeah, well,
so
it's
there
like not much is going on, but so
but
much
everything's
shit
going
is
on.
going on, everything in the
Yeah.
and now, of course, we have the yellow-eyed demon.
Yellow-Eyed Demon makes an appearance. Frederick Lane is back, and I love this keyhole lighting they've got on his eyes, really highlighting that, like, unnatural yellow. The original plan had been to have the Yellow-Eyed Demon appear in a different incarnation every time, but Frederick Lane did such an amazing job in My Time of Dying, they're like, congratulations, you're the yellow-eyed demon now. They had to have him back. We've got a son of a bitch,
Bitch.
and, we're gonna let this play out just a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and pause it and take a look, at our cards. But here's where we finally get now, okay, it's kind of a stereotypical bad guy monologue here, but we finally get him kind of laying out his plan that, ever since the season finale of season 1, we've known that the Yellow-Eyed Demon was up to something big,
Oh,
and we're
yeah.
finally getting the little pieces of it here. And he's telling Sam, "I don't need soldiers. I need a
Eh,
soldier. I need a leader, and welcome to the Hunger Games."
Yeah.
And but you're my favorite. I want you to be the one who wins this competition. And so I'm going to give you an inside track here that I'm not giving to everybody else. It's the story he's feeding Sam.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and how many times do we think he's fed this story?
Demons lie. It's in the job description. Yeah,
Oh,
so now I don't think he's lying about wanting Sam to be the winner, but if Sam isn't the winner, he's okay with that too. You know, that he has a preference for Sam and he says why, like you're tough, you're smart, you're trained thanks to your daddy. Mild spoiler alert, we're going to get more backstory later in the series. There are other reasons why Sam is his favorite. But he also knows that, not everybody is going to make it. And he does say that, people have washed out before. And we also get the drop here that he didn't set out to kill Mary, that she was kind of collateral damage, that she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it was bad luck. Oops. Like, he doesn't care that she's dead, but he's like, it wasn't my plan. I didn't have to kill her. But it's always been about Sam, and you see that hit Sam like a ton of bricks. That in his mind, his mother's death is his fault. Because the whatever happened, it was about him.
yeah.
Damon takes them back to the night of the fire, and we get this kind of view. Got Sam Smith back, reprising her role again as Mary, and uh, she walks out again, thinking this is John with the
Uh,
baby, and the demon uses his thumbnail to cut his wrist, and he starts feeding his own blood to the baby. This is CGI. They had some conversations about like what can we feed a baby that looks like blood, and they thought, you know what, maybe that's just a bad idea. Maybe we just do that in post. Mary spots the yellow demon and she says, "It's you." At which point Sam realizes, wait, she knew you. So there's more to this story than we got from the pilot.
of course.
Reenactment of her from the pilot. What we didn't see, we saw her on the ceiling. We didn't see how she got there. See her getting dragged up the ceiling, and then just as she's about to catch fire, gonna pause here on the black screen. The yellow-eyed demon zips them back out of the room. Sam wakes up. Okay, so we are looking for someone pours a salt line. A son of a
Son
bitch, and I don't did we look for the damn it already?
uh, I don't know because I don't have it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have it either. I don't have a salt line. Oh, wait, I
I
do.
don't.
I
I
do have
don't.
someone pours a salt line. How about a son of a
Do
bitch?
I have? Do I have someone pour the salt line? I don't think I do.
Mm-mm. This for a pretty boozy episode, the cards are stingy.
I was gonna, yeah, because yeah, no, I don't have someone pours the salt line.
They couldn't even find some decent vintage porn when they were looking for weapons. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You missed a trick, Supernatural.
Uh, yeah, no, I need someone to say awesome.
I need a
Uh,
lot of things.
oh, I need a
Try
lot of things too. Don't get me wrong. My maximum right now is 3, and I'm if
likewise.
yeah. Now I had a son of a bitch.
All right.
All right,
Well,
so I am definitely making this a wee one because I've had some big ones.
I I was gonna say I didn't go we because We don't have a lot of options. So cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, hitting play. Sam and Jake
Yeah,
come out with some weapons, and
yeah,
they realize Ava is missing.
yes.
So they're going on a
Mhm.
scavenger
Go
hunt
ahead.
looking for Miss Ava. And just as
Yeah.
they walk out of frame, she peeks around the side of the building.
Yes,
So
which, if I don't know about anyone else, but if that doesn't make you a wee bit suspicious, you
a
haven't been
little
watching the show, well,
suspicious.
long enough.
So what she's done is she's gotten the two toughest fighters out of the room to leave Andy alone.
Yeah,
He's
and
very careful not to break the salt line, but he turns around, there's Ava, and she just takes 2 fingers and swipes a sweeps a line through the sweeps a break through the salt line. She puts her hands to her temple and she summons the Achiri.
mhm,
Uh,
yeah,
at which point
yeah,
he
it
realizes he's in a lot of trouble. Well, I would call this a gratuitous blood spatter because the
oh,
demon,
hell
like,
yes!
tears into his
Yeah,
there's gratuitous blood
it's blood
spatter.
splatter. Yeah,
Um,
and look at her, she is cold-hearted
oh,
before she
yeah,
does the
she's
fake
not even a
scream.
flinch. What I think is
No,
interesting, though, is,
she's
like, she's
actually
not
satisfied with that. Like, that's a very satisfied look.
yeah, yeah, like, she doesn't appear to take, eh, joy out of it. She's not like, "Ooh," getting to watch them suffer, but it's like, "Okay, 1 more down, go me." I agree. It's a satisfying. Oh goodness, poor Andy has been ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
Sam starts looking around and he's like, "Wait a minute, there's a break in the salt line. Andy would not have done that."
Oh,
And you see him start to put the pieces together,
finally.
and he confronts her, and she keeps the act pretty well. And then all of a sudden, she's like, "You know what?
Okay.
Not worth it anymore." And she does this great thing where, like she's like sobbing away, tears running down her face, and she just all of a sudden goes, "Mm, never mind." Boop.
Yeah. Had you
I
going,
love
didn't
that
I?
little flip.
Uh, yeah.
Like, yeah, this is not my first rodeo. People keep showing up, and I'm the undefeated heavyweight champ. Uh, and I just it's this you can see her like realize she doesn't have to play anymore. Um, and like you said, there's a satisfaction. Like people keep coming, and I keep beating them all. Um, and I think it's a really nice performance from her.
Oh, yeah.
Um, she's got this line where she says, "You won't believe what you can do once you open yourself up to it."
Yeah.
So file that away.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be
I love
fun.
it. The learning curve, it's so fast. It's crazy
Yeah.
the switches you can just flip on in your brain.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. It's like,
freaky.
yeah, oh, it's freaky as shit. But she's like, because, and again, like the last time we saw Ava, she was, eh, she seemed to be a decent person. Like she went out of her way to help Sam. And then within 24 hours, she's eviscerated her boyfriend and or her fiance and taken off with a demon. So like she makes like some pretty rapid switches here. But she's about to summon the demon to attack Sam, and here comes Jake and just snaps her neck.
Yep. Which, oh, so
Like,
yeah, we're starting to see people's true colors here.
indeed, indeed. Dean and Bobby show up. They get to kind of a roadblock. They're like, okay, we're walking from here. They start arming themselves from the trunk. We get a great look at that grenade launcher that's been hiding in that trunk from the beginning. Um, and they're starting to hoof it in, come back. So now Jake and Sam are the only two left alive. And Jake starts saying, like, sorry, man, talk to that yellow eyed dude. It's not letting us go, just one of us. I got this. Sorry, man. You or
Look,
me, and guess what? It's gonna be me. Sam is trying to convince him, like, don't play its game, which I think is, again, something that we see about kind of the nature of Sam's personality that his life has okay, it's equipped him to be the leader the yellow-eyed demon wants. It's also equipped him to have a very good bullshit meter when it comes to demons, and he's not playing into it the way, like, Ava did or Jake is. Um, he puts his knife down to show Jake he's not gonna kill him the second Jake's back is turned. And he thinks at first that he's gotten into him, he's gotten,
yeah,
through to him, I should say. It's not that kind of show. He hasn't gotten into anybody. But and Jake just unleashes this super strength of his, and he sends Sam flying.
flying.
Let me pause that. Do
Good
you
facial
want to call
expression.
that thrown against a wall? He didn't land on anything but the ground, so it would be a stretch, but that
Well,
was a good
doesn't
toss.
he go through the fence?
He goes through the fence.
I mean, so he got thrown against something,
I'm okay with it.
and I don't even
Alright,
know if I don't even know if I have it. Like,
me
I
neither. Let's call it. Okay, so we have a
uh,
gratuitous blood spatter and a thrown against a wall while we're paused. I
alright,
have someone
yeah.
gets thrown against a wall. Oh, I have a son of a bitch I didn't get before. Let's see.
I don't have either.
Gratuitous blood spatter. Finally, I've got a couple on the board here.
Someone gets man, if Dean had gotten some action, I'd be doing good.
Yeah, if he'd even had a chick to check out.
Yeah, or just eat something for crying out loud.
I know. He mentioned pie, but he didn't get to eat anything.
Um, yeah. Uh, no, I got nothing, but I'm not letting you
I,
drink by yourself.
I was gonna say, join me.
I will. Cheers.
Cheers. Hitting play. All right. So Sam has landed flat on his back, and you can see he's hurting. What I think
Well,
is
that I
interesting
love that
about
look. It's kind of like, oh fuck, but
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, absolutely. And because I mean, Jake is like breaking bones, with every hit. And but what I think is interesting is he might be strong, he's not tough. So like anytime Sam lands a blow, it hurts the guy. It's not like Superman where you stand there and hit him and it doesn't do any good. So if he gets his hands on you, you're in trouble. But now here, I would say we've got someone gets knocked out because
I was
Sam
gonna
hits
say he's definitely knocked out.
yeah, Sam hits him in the head. And now Sam's got a choice because he's conscious. He can crush his skull right now if he wants to. And he doesn't. He's like, you know what? I'm not playing this game. Tosses,
Ah,
oh my goodness, this is crazy. He tosses it aside. He hears Dean calling. It's just absolutely pouring rain.
oh.
He walks out, he starts
Oh,
calling for Dean, and you see Jake pick up the knife that Sam
oh,
had dropped earlier and just stab him right in the back, and Sam
oh,
drops
oh,
in the mud. We've got this great shot, comes
oh,
up and over. Dean runs, he does like
oh,
a knee slide into his brother, and Sam just collapses.
oh,
Bobby goes
God.
running after Jake, and Dean puts his hand on Sam's back, and he looks at the blood, and Sam is just floppy, like, his head is lolling around, like, he's done. He's absolutely done, and Dean is saying, "Look, I'm gonna patch you up, you're gonna be good as new," and Sam is clearly dead. And this performance from Jensen is fantastic, where you see him start to realize his brother is
Uh,
gone. And he just ends up,
uh,
like, just you just see him here in the kneeling in the dirt with his brother, and he
uh,
just starts to cry. Again, this beautiful overhead shot of the 2 of them in the
but you
mud,
don't,
like,
well, we
this
don't
is
actually see him cry.
yes, we do. Hang on, here it comes.
Hold
I
on,
watched
please.
to make sure. We've got a here it comes. We've got a Sam, and, one perfect tear rolls right down his left cheek just before we go
Oh,
to
I didn't,
the
oh, and I'm
scene.
even looking for it and I missed it. I still missed it. And I've watched this episode several times and I
Oh,
still
yeah,
didn't
no.
see.
I'm like, "You better fucking cry."
Oh my God, I feel so guilty for that.
I know. No, this game has turned me into a terrible person. I say it all the time. Okay, so last couple minutes there, we had, someone gets knocked out. Oh, and if you
But
listen really closely, the Americana theme plays during
that's
that
what I
final
was hoping
scene.
you were gonna tell me because I
Yep.
have the Americana theme
Yes,
and
we've
I
got
have
someone gets knocked out, Americana theme, Sam dies,
dies. Yep.
and Dean cries. So let's see what we've got here. I might not have any of those.
I have
Oh, no,
two.
that's not true. I have the Americana theme.
Yep.
Oh, if only
Now,
we had gotten this
actually, what now? I know this is a one way thing, and this might be stretching it.
okay.
Would you call that a heartfelt bro moment at the very end? And again, I'm
Uh,
just because I'm fully aware it's not two-sided.
it's not two-sided, and they don't discuss anything.
No, just
Ooh,
again,
just
I could go if it just the like, come on, we'll patch you up and all that, but I'm aware it's not a two-sided thing.
is it well, here's another question.
Okay.
It's not a ritual. She's summoning demons.
She is summoning a demon,
It's not a ritual, but
but she is genuinely
she's
summoning one.
she's she's summoning them. So I would I would be more likely to say we have a summoning
Okay,
than
no,
a
I'll give you that. I will
than a
absolutely
heartfelt
give you
moment.
that.
Do you have a summoning?
No, but
Oh,
I would absolutely give it to you.
okay.
100%.
I will do that. So if only we had a sudden unexplained cold spot, I would have 5 in a row.
Yeah, no, I would need well, I wouldn't even have 5 in a row. I would need an awesome and I'd have 4 in a row.
Mm. I got the Americana gave me 4.
Yeah, I need either baby's tires squeal or someone else drives baby to get 4 in a row.
Mm.
And we don't have either. We're not
No,
even
we do
close.
not even if we cheat. So, no.
No. Uh,
Wow. Did you get any out of that last batch?
um,
Do you need me to run through it again?
well, I got the Americana theme and I got
Oh,
someone
yes.
got knocked out. I was trying to
Okay,
remember
good.
which batch that was from.
It's alright, we're gonna drink with me anyway.
I will. I will 100% drink with you. Cheers.
Cheers.
I couldn't remember whether I drank for those 2 squares or not. Not that
Eh,
matters.
just to be safe, you should drink it again.
I can do that, trust me.
Just to be safe. Okay, so I have 2, 3, 5, 7. I have 9 total
You
and
definitely kicked
4
my
in a
you
row.
definitely kicked my ass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, I have 8, I think. One, two,
Right?
three,
I
four,
would not
five,
call
six,
that an
7.
ass kicking. I
Well,
would call
they're
that a
so
half by a
spread
nose. And you
out.
have 4. And you also have
Oh, I do
4.
have 4. Oh, you're
You
right.
do.
Holy shit. Yeah, I
What's
do.
that? It's too tiny for my old eyes. What's that one there?
The one is one of the boys drops his weapon, and we do
No,
and
and he doesn't drop it, he sets it
no,
down.
yeah,
Damn
no,
it.
and no, there is no way I'm taking that one because there's
No,
no that no,
no, it's not a drop, it's a deliberate set down.
yeah,
Curse
no, there,
you, Sam Winchester.
yeah, no.
Why must you
I
be
didn't
so
even see
gallant?
that one. I was looking at the other diagonal. So
Uh,
yeah, so all right, so you beat me by 1. That's actually quite even.
I was gonna say that, that close enough to a tie. Alright,
So
so
so now to me though, the oops, and we didn't even get a chance to talk about this.
what was your oops that
Unless
you
you
saw?
can explain this one to me, and no, I did not research this. This is just something I caught.
Okay, what's that?
How the fuck did she lock it from the outside?
So, this is not something that is ever explained anywhere. My presumption is that she has the same ability as Max, that she did it with her brain.
Okay, I just assumed it was an oops and an oversight that they had it locked from the outside.
Yeah. No, because I mean, she's gotta get in there somehow. Um,
Yeah,
but,
but I'm like, really? How do you lock it when and from
you're in
the
it.
outside and you're in it? That makes no
So
sense.
I see 2 possibilities. Either there's some back way into the shed she's discovered over the last 5 months, or, which is what I tend to lean to, and you're right, they don't address it in the episode, so we don't know for certain. But the other possibility, which is what I personally lean toward, is that when she talks about you wouldn't believe the switches that flip
Yeah.
once you open yourself up to it, I think she discovers she has the same telekinetic ability that Max does. She just, for whatever reason, chooses not to employ it otherwise in this episode. Um, but all right. One thing you loved and one thing you hated.
Uh, the one thing I didn't like is I Ava to me she overplays it a bit.
Mm,
Like she annoys me a bit in this episode. Just
mhm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the actress does a tremendous job. There's just little things in there that annoy the crap out of me.
No, I agree. Uh, and again, if you watch, we talked about it already, but if you watch Sam's face, you can see him start to get kind of pissed at her too. Like, oh my God, lady, dry it up.
Yeah.
Off, enough with the waterworks.
Yeah. Well, that and it's like and it's like, honey, you're being over dramatic and yet nothing's happening, so it just looks fake. So it's like
And
if you're
yet,
trying to put on a show, it's looking really fake and over dramatic and just
yeah.
not working.
No,
Uh,
I hear where you're coming from, and I think you're right. It's a clue. Um, and again, after multiple rounds of these, elimination multiple elimination rounds. She's the last one standing. This is a bit she has clearly it's been working for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't disagree with you. Okay, something you loved. That was one thing you hated, but something you loved.
I think there's only one thing you can say,
Mm,
and that's Jared Padalecki.
mm.
He
We get some great performances from him.
I I love especially just the subtleties in his facial
Mhm,
expressions and just I know I'm like, all in all, like, there's some great interactions within the characters and all of that, but just in some of the scenes, there's just, like, tiny, tiny little
yeah,
like, really just subtleties that
yeah,
just make him go over the top,
yeah.
that I think are worth pointing out and put him over the edge.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's a good Sam episode, and I think he really rises to the challenge of it. Um, for me, and I know I mentioned this already, but I love how this episode brings out what a natural born leader Sam is. And it's something that is going to kind of reverberate through the next 13 seasons. This is something that we're going to see um particularly in the very late seasons, but how much Sam kind of hides his light under a bushel that it's almost like he knows his brother has to be the big brother and he lets him have it. And kind of the moment he's out away from Dean. You see him really stand up and step into that role. And at the same time, because I have to imagine Big Brother Dean has to grate on it, particularly when they live in each other's pockets. All
Yeah.
the time on the road. They're in the car together. They're in the same hotel room together. Like they're constantly in one another's back pockets. And that it you know, to all of a sudden start to be like, "Oh, crap." All those times he's like, "Stop worrying about it. I got this. Everything's gonna be okay." He was really scared shitless. And you see that realization on Sam's face. So I think that's a really great, um, aspect and kind of a nuance to
Yeah.
the script, and to your point, to Jared's performance. And then, like, even the soldier is deferring to him. What? Pardon me. The thing I hated, really, I know that Bobby is amazing. I know that that man is a walking encyclopedia. How he knows it's Cold Oak, North Dakota from the description, a big bell with some kind of engraving on it?
It's
Really?
in it's in the script.
It's in the script, but man, like anything, give me anything else. Have Cold Oak, North Dakota written on the bell. Anything, anything. I just, oh,
I
it's
loved it when it was like, "Belle, is there an oak tree there?" "Yeah."
is it a
Like,
tree? What? Like there's no other bells in the entire
I
country.
like, and I love how you can sort of see Dean even go, "Yeah? What?" Like,
Okay, you're a little freaky,
"Seriously?
Uncle
You
Bobby.
got that out of that?"
Mm.
No, and
Well, let's toast Super Sleuth Bobby.
hold on, I gotta toast that one, 'cause
We got last call.
last call.
Cheers.
And I just gotta add one more comment
Okay.
because it goes with your like. I almost feel like this episode between Jared and the writers I feel like this episode and going forward was a turning point because you see from now granted I'm almost halfway through 10,
Okay.
but you see a major difference from now, and I seriously doubt it changes from 10 and a half to 15. I seriously doubt it. In the way that they write for Jared. I think they realized what I feel like there's been a major writing switch in that they realized what he can dig his teeth into.
That is something that we are going to talk about a lot more in future seasons. But yeah, you see a lot of growth both for Sam as a character and for Jared as an actor.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't disagree with you. Uh, okay, so that is last call. Thanks for coming along with us for the ride. If you like what we're doing here, please like our videos, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tell your friends, and it helps other people to find us too if you like our videos.
Yeah, and if you want to see more bonus episodes and watch Liz and I totally unscripted, please, through either socials, emails, however you want to do it, please give us topic ideas that
Yeah.
we can put into Ask Jared and we can just pull out. And believe me, you put the two of us together with a completely unscripted text and a couple of cocktails, and God knows what's going to come out of our mouth.
Who knows? Yeah, let us know what you want to hear us talk about
Yeah,
because we
please.
love hearing from our SPN family. Comment, send us an email at hunterfuelpodcast@gmail.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Hunter Fuel Podcast. In our next episode, we will be watching the season finale of season 2, episode 22. All Hell Breaks Loose, part 2, when Dean is a contestant on Hell's favorite game show, Let's Make a Deal. Until then, be safe, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.